Hi, my name is Jay Patel. I'm a student at UC Berkeley taking Professor Lavian's IEOR 190G class on the smartphone patent war. Over the course of this class, we've been uploading videos onto YouTube where we would, go into detail about a specific company and their role in the smartphone patent war. But now we've switched gears and now we are discussing a specific patent currently in litigation, and we are elaborating on it. So this week we are talking about the first claim. Now, or the first claim primarily. Now, my report is on a method for power management. HTC filed this as a patent, and they are suing Apple over alleged patent infringement. We'll get to that shortly. Now, to introduce this claim, um, I'd like to start off by saying that there uh, there are 15 claims. The first one is independent. Everything else after that builds upon that or upon another claim that subsequently builds off of the first claim. What is the main claim says that they're patenting a method to manage power and to turn off certain functions that are not in use to preserve power. So what this patent claims is that it has a specific way of turning off um, either the phone portion or the PDA portion of a smartphone, which a smartphone being defined as a combination of a PDA, a personal digital assistant, and a phone. Um, Now, some of the claims that are brought up in it are, it gives a method to reset the smartphone, a way to search for service, ways of turning off the operating system, turning the phone or its various components into a sleep mode if it is idle, and detecting power and shutting features off. Um, so some of the main claim, you know, HTC says, look, here's a way to systematically manage the power of a phone. Features will be turned off as predetermined to save energy. The other claims, from 2 to 15, they pretty much, as a summary, they pretty much say, here's a way to turn off or turn on or put into sleep mode certain functions. Here's a way to turn off specific segments of the phone, and here are some details on how we're going to detect the power so we can subsequently turn off certain features. Potential products that are covered, pretty much any smartphone which efficiently manages battery. Because again, not only does this patent cover a certain way of turning off features by itself automatically, but in addition to that, it also has this power detection, which I believe many phones use, if not all phones that I've encountered so far. So potentially, almost every phone is covered. As an example, I would like to look at my iPhone. Uh, Missed call. My bad. So, my iPhone, if I double click on the home screen, it shows things that are running in the background. I currently have messages and the internet browser Safari online. Both of those would fall under the depiction, as HTC claims, of a smartphone being a PDA, which is where the internet comes in, or a phone, which is where the texting comes in. If I hold an icon, if I hold one of the icons, the shake, and click, I can click this little red arrow to turn, or this little red minus sign to turn a certain feature off. Now, granted, I think what HTC was trying to patent was a way to turn it off automatically, but here's an example of how to do it manually, it's very possible HTC's patent also covers. Um, Now, moving on specifically into Claim 1. Um, Claim 1 says what is claimed is a method for power management of a smartphone having a power system, a mobile phone system operated in a standby, sleep, or connection or off mode, and a PDA system operated in a normal sleep or off mode. The method comprising steps of. So that's the preamble. So pretty much, like I said before, it says that, look, patent office, we're HTC. We have a way to manage this power. We also have a way to detect the battery life, or sorry, the power of a phone, and we have a way for the phone to go in between as a liaison and turn things off and turn things on uh, to reduce power consumption. Now, what this does not cover something that I thought was really interesting was what it does not cover is power management defined as that would be defined by a portable media or portable entertainment device. So HTC starts off by saying that a smartphone is a personal digital assistant and a phone. Now, for the iPhone, I think a potential loophole for the iPod to the iPhone to go beyond is that the iPod features of the phone, do those really fall under a personal digital assistant? I mean, from at least my stereotype of it, a PDA seems more like an office assistant. I don't really see an iPod or a video player really going into that as much. So that's one way that HTC might have limited its own claim, was by defining a smartphone so limitedly. So now I'm going to go more so into the different elements of the first claim. Now, the first element says, we can reset the phone, which which I'm interpreting to mean that you can turn off or turn on the phone. The next that's claimed is that the phone will search for a network. Self-explanatory. If there's a cellular network that it wants to connect to, the phone will search for it automatically. The next element builds off of that and says if a network is found, it'll find a network, but it won't try to use it until it's prompted to. So it'll put that part of the phone on, or that part of the phone's features on standby. One way to preserve power. And going off of that even further, it says it'll switch to connect to the network when you're going to use it. So if you're going to make a call, all of a sudden it'll connect to the network, and therefore it will use that part of the battery. But up until this point, it won't use it, so it'll preserve the power. The next element claims a way to put things in a standby, or from standby into sleep if the thing's been idle for a long time. So this one claims, element 5 claims that it's for the mobile phone, whereas element 6 says the same thing but for the PDA portion of the phone. It also specifies a time frame, like it says a second period of time, which means that it follows a first period of time, which hypothetically is limiting the reach of this claim. In addition to that, there's power detection. That's the last step, which is a little bit different than the other ones, but then it ties back into all of them because this element has 3 elements of its own, which go back and say, it'll do steps elements 1 through 6 if it detects a low battery. So the big picture here is that HTC patented a method by which a phone would automatically turn off certain features to preserve battery or preserve power, and that certain features will be turned on only when used. And also, in addition to that, it'll detect the power that the phone has to turn off other features and whatnot. Yeah. So potential ways that this might cover the infringing iPhone. Well, the iPhone is a smartphone. It has PDA components, and it also makes calls and sends texts. So and it also manages power. Turns off certain things off, keeps certain things on, things in the background. You can turn things off, etc., etc. It works in that way, and it could fall under this umbrella. However, at the same time, the iPhone also has so many other features like the iPod or apps or such that don't really fall under the limited definition provided by HTC. So, the PDA is not necessarily a media device. So that's one way that this patent does not cover the iPhone. So that is it for this week. Actually, sorry, one more thing. The claim, it's open-ended. If you look at the specific words and phrases, I forgot to mention this. The claim is open-ended such that the patent repeatedly mentions the words power detection, but it doesn't use the words battery, even though that's what all smartphones that I know run on. This is probably to keep the patent open-ended, such that in the future, as technology develops, HTC can still keep this patent relevant. That's it for this week. I'm sorry for the 10-minute video. My name is Jay Patel once again, and I hope you have a great weekend.